the playoffs, seeing Tom win the Super Bowl, having people doubt him now, not having a franchise quarterback under contract, people saying, well, it was more Tom than it was you, and that whole damn debate. I don't care how many Super Bowls he's been to or how many he has won. I promise you, he is sitting somewhere right now going, okay. But I would bet he has now, this year, I'll bet he comes out firing in a way you haven't seen in a long time.
There he is, Louis Riddick, making bold predictions. Bill Belichick versus everybody. I'm with it. Stephen A., do you agree with Louis here that Bill's going to go scorched earth?
No, I think that he'll have that kind of attitude. He's Bill Belichick and he's great, but it don't mean a damn thing if he don't have a quarterback. Louis Riddick can sit up there and talk about Bill Belichick all he wants to with the 8 championships and 6 as a head coach. You understand? But last time I checked, Bill Belichick can't go out on the field, kneel behind center, drop back, and throw the damn football from the quarterback position. He has to hope somebody can do it for him. Now, Bill Belichick being the genius that he is, and no one would dare question that, his coaching resume speaks for itself, and I would never try to impugn that because he's phenomenal. But the bottom line is that you can put dudes in the right place to win all the time. They've got to execute. Who's going to execute? That's the question mark. I'm quite sure Bill Belichick sees things before they do. Doesn't matter. Can't stop them from seeing what they see. Can't stop them from doing what they do. You can do your best, but ultimately it doesn't work. Now, obviously, when we look at the Patriots last year, you had 8 dudes that called out for the season because of COVID-19. They didn't want to participate. And I think that had a devastating impact, which is why I think that Bill Belichick did a damn good job last year. And he's not to be, he's not to be insulted in any way. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to is this. I don't want to hear about Bill Belichick and scorcher. You mad? You mad? Well, hell, when have you looked happy? I don't recall Bill Belichick looking happy much. Okay, unless it's on Championship Sunday after winning the Super Bowl. That day, but all of those days preceding that day, he never looked happy any damn way. So what Louis Riddick is saying doesn't mean much to anybody else. Bill Belichick always looks that way. He always looks like he's ready to go scorched earth. He always looked motivated and unhappy and a bit truculent and acerbic and all of those other words that you want to throw out. It don't make a damn bit of difference. At the end of the day, that man needs a quarterback. He needs a quarterback, and the GM, that's Bill Belichick, needs to get whatever quarterback he chooses, weapons to actually throw the football to. That's what he needs. All of that scorched earth stuff don't mean nothing. Don't mean a thing.
Well, I agree about the quarterback because the league has favored quarterbacks in the passing game to the point where it's a little less about coaching and a little more about talent than it used to be, I think, in the NFL, especially on offense. But I'm with Louis Riddick on this one. Louis, I'm with you. Bill Belichick, first of all, look what he was working with last year. 8 guys off the team to start the season who opted out because of COVID, including Hightower and Chung. Gilmore missed a bunch of games. I mean, these are the best defensive players they got. And they didn't have anything on offense. Name one offensive player that the Patriots had that another team would want to start on their team. Name one guy. You have any tight ends or wideouts that people are like, yeah, I want that guy? Or running backs? Not a single guy. So they had nothing on offense. And now they have a quarterback rehabbing off a catastrophic injury who just missed a year. And Stephen A., you religiously say, not a thrower of the football really ever at an elite level, right? With that dude, who then himself got COVID. So now you got a new quarterback in a totally new system, the exact opposite of the guy you just had, rehabbing from an injury, missed a year, got to learn a new system, and you can't practice. You're missing your whole defense, and you can't practice. And then that dude gets COVID. So now you got to not only miss the quarterback, and it lingers, right, the effects of COVID on his play, but you got to shut down the facilities. You can't even walk through stuff. It's impossible. Now, Louis, in spite of all this, the reason I'm with you, they won 7 games. They beat the Ravens. They beat Arizona. They beat the Raiders. They beat Miami. They came a play away from beating Buffalo and a play away from beating Seattle. So, yes, do I think, given a full preseason, given another year to get it together without opt-outs, Bill Belichick is going to come back and have a great year? Yes, I do.
Yeah, look, I think early on this past season, he understood. He saw what the writing on the wall was going to be. And whereas he was never coaching to just get through this season, I think he also understood that 2021 is when he was going to make his return. where he was going to have a bunch of cap space. He knew that he had to address quarterback, but he knew then he could kind of really restock the coverage for this football team. And I can tell you this, late in the season, talking to him during Monday night production meetings, there was a palpable sense of just frustration and disgust at how he wasn't able to get his team to play the way he was accustomed to getting it playing. And I've heard that. I've heard that sound in his voice before. I heard it when I was sitting in the amphitheater in Cleveland, in Berea, in the football facility when we weren't playing up to our potential. And I know how he comes out firing and with a renewed sense of urgency when he's feeling that way. Now, Stephen A., you're right. It isn't going to matter unless he goes ahead and addresses the quarterback position. And this is where I think you're going to see a change. And this isn't him saying it. This is me just predicting this or kind of forecasting this. I think you're going to see a change with which he approaches this offseason with a greater sense of urgency instead of sitting back and letting everything come to him, which is what he has had the liberty of doing given the fact that he is who he is. They've had the success that they've had. And people basically said, well, if you want to win championships, just go to New England. I don't think anybody necessarily looks at it that way anymore, especially with number 12 not being there anymore. I think you're going to see a different approach as far as I'm going to be much more aggressive now. And number one, I know I got to take care of this quarterback position. And I know I've got to get us some wideouts on the perimeter. And this is the perfect year to do it. Number one in free agency and number two in the draft. And I see you, Stephen A. I see you out of the corner of my eye. I see you sitting there like this. All I'm saying is this. Mm-hmm. His approach is going to be different. Hold on, let me finish this. His approach is going to be different. Mm-hmm. It's going to be different. It's going to be much more aggressive. And Max, as you point out, look, with a roster that was just depleted last year, he still had people on the ropes over and over again until late in the season where he just couldn't do it anymore. He couldn't do it with smoke and mirrors anymore. It's going to be a big year for him. Just mark my words, it's going to be a big year.
Fine. It's going to be a good year. Let me talk to you about something, Mr. Chippendales.
No, I didn't say a good year. I said a big year.
Let me talk to you about something. I got you. A big year. A big year. Let me talk to you about something, Mr. Chippendales, all right?
Yeah.
You know, smooth daddy here. Got the collar open. You macking. I got it. And you've been chilling. Clearly you were chilling a little bit too much. Now, I thought you did a fantastic job on Monday Night Football, but clearly you were chilling a little bit too much when it came to Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick sat back and let things come to him. Bill Belichick sat back and said, let me just let things come to me. Stop it.
You missed the context with which I said that, Stephen A. You missed the context with which I just said that. In the offseason, Bill plays the patient game. He plays the long game better than anybody. He always has. But this year his approach is going to have to be different.
See, you know what? Not with wide receivers. That's not true.
Okay, well, I'm saying, listen, I'm saying overall he plays the long game better than everyone. Because of the fact that he doesn't like to delve into free agency the first 24, 48 hours, he understands that that the time with which you make these transactions is critical. First 24 to 48 hours, players have all the leverage. That's where the worst deals are made. I think Bill's going to be a player early on. I think it's going to be one of these situations where he's going to have to be aggressive and recruit and get people to come to New England and not have people just saying, you know what? If we want to win, what I'm saying is I think the approach is going to be much different.
Are you willing to admit that Bill Belichick, the GM, not the coach, not the great coach, Bill Belichick, the GM, has been subpar? Bill Belichick, the GM, has dropped the ball. Are you willing to admit that? And maybe it wasn't because he laid back. Maybe because it was arrogance, because he was like, yeah, damn it, I'm Bill Belichick. This ain't about Tom Brady. I know what the hell I'm doing. Is that possible?
You know what? I think that's entirely possible. I think it's entirely possible that, you know what? Hey, look, this is a guy who's won everything there is to win in football. There's no question. I think that at some point in times, I'm sure he's a human being. I'm sure he feels as though, look, I've seen it all. I've had the answers to it all. And maybe he did drop it down a gear or two to where it wasn't up to his normal standard. That's where I'm saying this. This year, the way it played out, the frustration I heard in his voice, his quarterback that he drafted, his program developed, they won all those championships together, leaves, goes to a different organization. Everyone's saying, and look, it's pretty obvious right there in front of our face, this guy's having fun, this guy's living, he's on boats, he's living in Derek Jeter's house. Bruce Arians is saying, I'm letting him coach, Tom's doing his own thing, and Bill's sitting there going, okay. So now everybody's going, well, maybe it wasn't Bill. Maybe we should go down here to Tampa and play with Tom. Heck, Tom is the one who's drafting. Tom's the one who's deciding if AB's coming back.
This is the point, Lewis.
If Zach Barrett's going to
Stephen A.
Go ahead, Max. Max.
I'm saying He's
This
going
is
to
the
come
point.
back
You, Lewis.
with a vengeance.
We heard you. I'm going to come back at you. Go ahead, Max.
This is the point. The point is, whether you like it or not, Tom Brady set himself up in Tampa. No doubt he set himself up to succeed, left the cupboard bare for Belichick. Whatever. Tom Brady won the Super Bowl, year one. He didn't make the NFC Championship game. He won the Super Bowl. Went through Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes, won the Super Bowl. So now everyone's saying the Patriot way.
Yeah, he did.
That's actually the Tom Brady way. And whether we like it or not, whether you think it's true or not, the fact of the matter remains, Bill Belichick's got something to prove right now. Bill Belichick's got something to prove. He's nothing more to prove. Lewis, you said it. He's seen it all. No. He's got something to prove. The greatest coach of all time has got something to prove. That hasn't been the case in a very long time.
Are y'all ready for this, Lewis? May I impart, dare I say, may I impart some words of advice and wisdom to Bill Belichick? Can I do it, Lewis? Would you allow me to do that? Is Bill Belichick watching? Is Bill Belichick watching?
Hey, it's your show, man.
Are you ready for this? Are y'all ready for this, y'all? Tom Brady goes to Tampa, right? He's got the roster. He's got beautiful sunshine weather. He's got no state income taxes. Maybe, just maybe, somebody needs to advise Bill Belichick, Louis Riddick, that being a bit, a stoic and dare I say a little truculent at times or whatever, why are you asking people to come to Foxborough, Massachusetts, where blizzards are just as normal as anything else? Maybe, just maybe, Bill Belichick, dare I say, Max, Lewis, might need to modify his personality just a touch. Because instead of you saying, I'm Bill Belichick and we the New England Patriots and it's the Kraft family leading the way, maybe you need to think about bringing some sunshine to Foxborough, lighten it up a little bit. So Rob Gronkowski, because that's the key too. Remember, Rob Gronkowski was talking about it wasn't fun no more. He looked like he was having a lot of damn fun this last year in Tampa. Maybe, just maybe, Bill Belichick, an old dog might need to be taught a few new tricks. Learn to enjoy life a little bit. And make sure those players do the same.
Hey,
dare I say that's possible?
You know what?
Cam Newton
You know what?
said.
Some more horses.
I'm talking about to get the horses to come.
You know what? I will say this, though. Stephen A. I will say this, though, okay? Talking to him this year, he sounds different, okay? This is a guy who right now, who obviously he knows he's much closer to the end of his career than he is to the beginning. And he, like I said, there's nothing for him to prove, but as Max says, there's something for him to prove. And I think this will be a comprehensive reevaluation of what he needs to do in today's day and age. Nick Saban told me this too. When I talked to Nick, and I've heard Nick talk about this as far as how he changed his recruiting process down there at Alabama. Because, look, he's the same way. He's cut from the same cloth. I played for them both. I know they're almost one and the same, all right? And Nick said this, in recruiting, I had to change the way I approach some of these kids. Because in today's day and age, the kids want to know about this. What's good for me first? Tell me how this helps me to come to Alabama. Tell me how this helps me. Don't jam all this team stuff down my throat. Tell me what Alabama can do for me. And then Nick says, you know what, that's fine. I'll sell that to you. Because on the